parliament and some there ebi course papa. Where a showdown and a crash between Honorable Aforyo Markins, the minority leader, and the Honorable Sam George. Ni nyina ne say Aforyo Markins e ko make statement today. And Sam George, sorry ya no say speaker ama minority leader am pacho no wan twe asem na wo kan ye ne ansign dia proceedings na e wo so omo ye wo parliament no omo ntumi ento aso.
Minority leader is offensive and must be withdrawn because it is unparliamentary. He must apologize and withdraw.
Tie ensem no a Sam George eka yenko tie statement a minority leader emeki ya eko trigger Honorable Sam George.
It's very clear to me that you are not ready to listen to dissenting views, and particularly those who come here to heckle. They come in during voting time. Those who really want to debate, they stay. We have few of you who stay in for debate. When it gets to voting, you are whipped in, and all you come is to make noise and distract and to be heckling.
In someone minority leader eko kan ya eko trigger Honorable Sam George ya obeka say omra no omepa che no we ene nsemo ko kan na enra na wo mo main agenda eye e-levy ene some taxes bi a wo mo e ba betwam enti yenko tie the finance minister ato forcing ensemo a wono nso eriko tu dwa wo ho ene enchiremu a wode ba ya e wo se e-levy ene some taxes bi no yetwam ne yenko tie ye ba ye beto aso.
Speaker, you don't tax sectors that are not doing well. I cannot decide to add additional taxes on agriculture. And Mr. Speaker, and I cannot, for example, decide to tax the cocoa that is not doing well. Or decide to tax the ordinary Ghanaian whose living standard has deteriorated over the years, including the tax on sanitary pads. That is not what I'm seeking to do. Mr. Speaker, when the cost of living has deteriorated over the years, my tax policy should not be targeting those ordinary Ghanaians that are not doing well. Mr. Speaker, the gold sector is doing exceedingly well. It's doing exceedingly well. So it's only rational. It's only rational and prudent for a Minister of Finance to identify the sector that is throwing out abnormal profit and tax them accordingly. Mr. Speaker, the fact remains that we are all politicians. Mr. Speaker, we are all politicians. We have our political parties and our lineages. Mr. Speaker, but there comes a time that you decide to support your country. Mr. Speaker, the time is now. When mining companies are making abnormal profit, you are saying that we shouldn't tax them, but we should rather tax the ordinary? Is that what you are suggesting? Mr. Speaker, that you are opposing this progressive tax. Mr. Speaker, this tax is progressive. E-levy is regressive. Mr. Speaker, betting tax is regressive. We are introducing a progressive tax. That is what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, aside that, all what we are saying is that we are social democrats. We believe in protecting the poor. We believe that if the rich or companies are making good profit, tax them and redistribute it. Mr. Speaker, the tax that is coming in, the tax as we are going to benefit from, we are going to use that to increase the school feeding program. We are using that to increase the allocation going to the LEAP. Mr. Speaker, we are using those taxes to buy sanitary towels for school girls. That is called redistribution. That is what we are doing.
So, Honorable Ato forcing, Edin in Semni nyina etu dwawie ye no. And a minority leader, Aforyo Markins, take floor. Into taking floor now, on also din the side of the story, nin in Chemo neighbor. And a majority side, no mu yedidi. Into na the obeyane say, obey true punches are form. And yen some the work can be. When I'm so, and a court trigger Sam George. and okase there be point of correction. We are pani udi domonim enu ho kwa asa okasa sa. Enti se watimi akasa say dia be pa achew said ye be ya ye betimi atoa parliamentary proceeding so.
After some few weeks back, I decided to ignore, but today and this very time, this evening, I want to respond. Mr. Majority Leader, most respectfully, I shall continue to accord you every respect. Please allow debate to flow. It is very clear to me, that you are not ready to listen to dissenting views, and particularly those who come here to heckle. They come in during voting time. Those who really want to debate, they stay. We have few of you who stay in for debate. When it gets to voting, you are whipped in, and all you come is to make noise and distract and to be heckling. Mr. Speaker, the point here is the finance minister should stand down this bill. There should be further consultation on this matter. The industry players have issued a statement.
I recognize the minister responsible for communication.
The industry players
Yes, Minister for
have
Communication.
expressed some concerns.
Honorable Minority Leader, I recognize the Minister for Communication.
Honorable Aforyo Markins, na nsemu a odi tu dwa no was say ya no we decide say obey ignore, but say no e was say or reply wo mo enti na ma odi reply no e koye na yenko ni yenko tie Minister for Communication Honorable Sam George ono nso the side of the story yeba to aso.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, we are all colleagues in the House. For the minority leader to say that some of us don't come to the chamber and we are only whipped in to come and make noise when it's time to vote is offensive and must be withdrawn because it is unparliamentary. He must apologize and withdraw.
Yes, Minority Whip.
Speaker, you had earlier recognized the Minister for Communication to speak. Speaker, may I refer you to Order 115? Order 115. The Minister for Communication is in direct breach of Order 115, and therefore I invite you to rule him out of order. Yes, and his comments should be expunged from the records. Check. Open your records. Open your orders. Go and sit on your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I am in my seat, and Mr. Speaker, I want to state for the records that in this House it is unparliamentary, it is unbecoming, and it is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, if it was any of the first timers at the back who failed to attend orientation, who are going to behave that way, we will forgive them. But not when it is the Osahini who is the minority leader. He must set a good example. He must withdraw and apologize to this side of the House. And so, Mr. Speaker, he must withdraw.
Honorable Honorable Nyako, please resume your seat. Honorable Nito.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I think the minority leader, Mr. Speaker, the minority leader was still on his feet when my good friend, the communication minister, got up to interrupt him. I know that. But Mr. Speaker, the reason I rose up is because you ever ruled here that when the leaders are on their feet, it is only the two leaders who can rise up on a point of order against them. I want your guidance on it. Whether we are still sticking by the same rules or the rules have changed. Because Sam George is not sitting here. He is now a minister. And I've also seen a new person sitting at the front bench, and he's been shouting. He keeps shouting and banging the table. Mr. Speaker, he would either he goes to sit at his place or he remains as a leader. I should not be banging the table. But Mr. Speaker, I really need your guidance on the first point I raised. I thank you very much.
Honorable members, let's get it clear. When you are on your feet speaking, we listen with a rapt attention. Honorable members, when you are debating, and
the Minister for Communication, and so the no. Now, after say, Sam George, I didn't need any every and a drama in our chassis. And ye ready and penny form for parliament. Hey, say, dear, knife parliament, I'll grow too much. Dear near Melcon, yet. Ti yanko, na hons yanko tie, and somewhere course so drama a course so and in near ma as a leader I to a bar mam say munko na munko or mine mumfa or mine who business and ko said ya be your mind bit me a tumpon mommy yanko ni yanko she the air course of parliament
order. Sometimes we know it is at that point that if a member is on his feet, we are inclined to listen to that member. Other members, when there is no issue or point of order and you are on your feet, the speaker may ignore you. Honorable members, let's be guided by the rules. For you to say that some members do not come to the chamber, they only come to make noise. Let's consider this statement as to whether it is offensive or it is not offensive. Honorable members, though the leaders have a right to debate without interruption, does not necessarily mean that when a clear case is made, I will not listen to the member. Honorable members, if the use of the word, some members do not come to the chamber, they only come to the chamber to make noise, according to our rules, is offensive, then I will call on the minority leader to do the needful and let's make progress.
Mr. Speaker, before I proceed with my submissions, let me, in accordance with your directive, restate my point that members must be patient to listen and listen in silence. I keep reminding the majority backbench that if they disrespect our front bench, they shouldn't expect the leader of the house to be respected. Because, Mr. Speaker, when the leader is on his feet, we try to listen. Even this afternoon, the leader went below the belt, but I restrained myself. Mr. Speaker, please. Mr. Speaker, I believe that it is unacceptable to be yelling, recklessly heckling when a leader is on his feet making an argument. And Mr. Speaker, you did indicate that on such occasions where there will be even the need to interrupt, it should take the leader to interrupt me. But not when backbenchers will be shouting and all that. But, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable members, order. Honorable members, order.
when they start heckling, they start hiding their faces. Be bold and let me identify you. When we meet at the coffee area, you and I. Show your faces. Let me see. Mr. Speaker, that is on a lighter note. It's all right. Mr. Speaker, all we are saying is that this government must act in good faith.
Honorable
be quiet.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minority
this
Leader.
government must act in good
Honorable
faith.
Minority Leader, I urge upon you to do the honorable thing and let's make progress. So please, Honorable Minority Leader, please.
Speaker, so my colleagues at the backbench, respectfully, let's have some tolerance to listen to one another. I promise you that to the extent that you will be quiet and listen, you won't be hearing phrases like you are making noise. You won't hear that. So you be quiet. Don't make the room noisy. Don't make the chamber noisy. Just be quiet. Mr. Speaker, I would want to encourage the government, by way of conclusion, that the government should act in good faith.
Honorable Minority Leader, I humbly call upon you to do the honorable thing.
I'm concluding. I will say it. I will do it in conclusion. Please, leave that to me. Mr. Speaker, the government must act in good faith by standing down this bill for further consultation. That said, I would want to take away the aspect of my submission that my colleagues who were heckling were making noise. And that I would also urge them not to be doing that again. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much.
Honorable members, a point of order was raised when the Minority Leader was speaking. Honorable members, the words that some members do not come to the chamber, they only come to make noise, is ordered to be expunged out of the record as offensive and against our own standing order one.
The course so our parliament no beso scrap no like no share no review comment comment section ho e dia mame aha GH1 Plus TV Mr. share ma wonua na wonua nso share ma nenua said ye be ya drop new content bia no a ebetimi arechi no nso wanya bia tie